All right, welcome. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're taking a super simple classic fable and we're going to put it right under the microscope. We're going to see what makes it tick and uncover that powerful universal storytelling engine that's hiding inside. Okay, let's just dive right in.
You know, every great story really kicks off with a big question. And this one? It's a classic. It's a story all about power, about perspective, and about what happens when the absolute weakest voice in the forest has to go and ask for help from the strongest. It's a dynamic you see everywhere, and really, it's the heart of our entire tale.
So, let's set the stage. Every story needs a catalyst, right? That first domino that has to fall to get everything moving. Well, in our fable, it's not some grand villain's plot or a search for hidden treasure. Nope. It's just a sound. A deep, rumbling, forest-shaking snore.
And just look at the contrast here, the immediate sense of scale. On one side, you've got our hero, this little mouse who, honestly, just wants to get a peaceful night's sleep. And on the other side, his problem, a gigantic bear whose snoring has been driving him crazy all winter. And it still won't stop, even though summer's here. The power imbalance is just baked in from the very first moment.
But our mouse, he doesn't just give up. He really tries to solve the problem himself. First, he tries the polite approach. "Excuse me, Mr. Bear, could you please wake up?" When that fails, he escalates things. Even finds a bugle to blast right at the sleeping bear. But nothing, absolutely nothing works. And this is perfect for showing us just how desperate he's getting, and that this problem is way too big for him to handle on his own. So, having tried pretty much everything he can think of, the mouse is at his wit's end. He's got to get help. And this is where the story's real conflict begins. And funny enough, it's not with the bear, but with the one creature who could actually fix everything.
His friends suggest the one thing he was probably dreading. Go ask the lion. I mean, he is the king, right? And his roar is legendary. If anything can wake that bear, it's the lion's roar. So, terrified but with no other choice, the little mouse goes to approach the mighty beast.
And this is the response he gets. Wow. The lion doesn't just say no, he scoffs at him. He makes him feel small, immediately framing their whole relationship around power and size. It's just a brutal, arrogant shutdown.
And with that, boom, the door is slammed shut. The lion sees the mouse as tiny and useless, completely beneath him. He just turns and walks away, leaving our mouse totally hopeless. So now the battle lines are drawn, right? It's all about might versus perceived weakness.
But here's where the architecture of the story gets really clever. Just when the most powerful character seems absolutely untouchable, the story throws in a twist. It's a complete reversal of fortune, and it all hinges on something incredibly small.
And this, right here, this captures one of those universal truths that makes stories like this stick with us. The lion's power, his roar, his raw physical strength, all of it is about to be made completely useless by a problem he never, ever saw coming.
So, what is this mighty king's weakness? You're not going to believe it. Fleas. A whole swarm of tiny fleas. He is so miserable, so overcome by this non-stop itching that he's actually hiding away in shame, scratching himself on trees and, looking rather silly. You just gotta love the irony, right? The creature who dismissed the tiny mouse is now being brought to his knees by something even smaller.
And this all sets the stage for the story's climax. The little mouse, walking home totally defeated, just happens to stumble upon the suffering king. And now he has this huge choice to make. Does he walk away and let the guy who insulted him suffer? Or does he offer the very help that he was denied?
And you won't believe this, but even now, even while he's completely miserable, the lion's arrogance is still there. He dismisses the mouse's offer of help with the exact same logic as before. You're too small, you're useless to me. And that just makes what the mouse does next all the more powerful.
And this is where we see the mouse's true character just shine through. He ignores the insults, he ignores the rejection, and he bravely jumps onto the lion's back to deal with those fleas. This isn't about power or status for him, it's just a simple act of compassion offered with absolutely no expectation of getting anything in return.
And this part just perfectly captures how dangerous this is. The lion is so lost in his own misery that he's completely thoughtless. He's rubbing against trees, almost crushing the mouse. He jumps into a lake, nearly drowning him. He shakes himself dry so hard the mouse can barely hang on. The mouse is literally risking his life for the king who just scorned him.
And just look at this complete 180. When the last flea is finally gone and the itching stops, the lion is a changed animal. He goes from total scorn to genuine humility. He admits he was wrong, he recognizes the mouse's incredible courage, and he offers a simple but powerful thank you. And that right there, that's the emotional heart of the whole story. It's a full character arc, all driven by one simple act of kindness.
Okay, so here we are, the resolution. The story has come full circle. The conflict is resolved, our main character is transformed, and now it's time to tie up that one last loose end. The grateful lion takes the mouse back to his home, and when he hears that bear snoring still rumbling out of the cave, he knows exactly what he needs to do. He takes this deep, deep breath, and he lets out a roar so huge, so powerful, that the very stone floor of the cave actually shakes.
And just like that, it's over. The bear wakes up, totally confused, and our little mouse, he finally has the peace and quiet he's been dreaming of all this time. The favor has been returned. The original problem is finally solved, not by might alone, but through a journey that required both humility and kindness.
So, why does a simple little story like this stick with us for generations? It's because its structure, its architecture, perfectly delivers a message that's both timeless and profound about how the world really works.
Ultimately, what the story is really getting at is this idea of interdependence. See, the lion learns that his strength has its limits, and that help can come from the most unlikely places. And the mouse? He learns that his courage and his kindness are a kind of power all on their own.
And in the end, that's really the question the story leaves you with, isn't it? It challenges our whole definition of strength. It suggests that maybe, just maybe, true power isn't about the noise you can make, but about the compassion you can show when it really, truly matters most. Definitely something to think about.